Alec Harper was a former fisherman and a member of the Merchant Navy. He started his working life in the sailboats before moving to drifters. Alec was a Portknockie man. He was interviewed in July 1988, and this is his story. I left school when I was 14. It was too late in the year for me to get a berth at sea, as the boats all start fishing in May and June when we got our holidays. So my first job was in the baker's. It was some job, I can tell you. 3 in the morning, gone on till 7 at night, and my pay was 2 and 6 and a 4-pound loaf. You would hardly believe that, would you? Of course there was no restriction in the bakehouse. If you was hungry, you could have got a biscuit or anything like that. But that was the wages, 14 or 15 pence a week. I stuck that out for a year, and then the next year I went to sea in a sailboat. In the sailing boat you had to cook for 8 men. You had also to keep steam in the boiler, and when hauling the nets you had to coil the ropes. You had to gang into the coiling boat, put on coal, and keep the whole job going all the time. The first year I was in the sailboat, oh aye, that was monotony, that. One of the crew would learn you for the day, then after the first week you were entirely on your own, and you'd 8 men to feed, and I can say that it was some shambles. Some of the young fellas went in and they made a real good job of it, but other fellas they got disheartened, and they didn't finish the season perhaps. If they did finish the season, you was glad to see it over. It was really a tough life. There was 8 of you sleeping in not half the size of this room. 8 of you had to sleep, and you can just imagine having a boiler stuck in that corner in my bed. I was at the side of the boiler, and every night I was just saturated. Well, you did really sleep. You was dead tired, and you slept a certain way, but you weren't arrested. Some days were terrible. I remember coming into Fraserburgh Harbour. It was mainly Fraserburgh we fished. We was just a mile off the pier. You ken how long it took us to get in? 5 hours. Flat calm, nae a breath of wind. You depended on wind, solely dependent, unless some good-hearted drifter came along and gave you a tow. I was in 2 sailboats. The first name was the Treasure, and the second name was the Gowan. That was, I think, the last boat that sailed out of here, the Gowan. She was sailed on to Stornoway. The worst fishing of the lot was when they fished the Yarmouth fishing. We used to come home here and go to what they called loch fishing, the West Highland lochs. If ever there was slavery, that was it. You used to put down 2 lots of nets, say 15 to 20 in a row, and gang to the other side of the loch. With that, and when darkness come down, you piled some nets in the same boat and went out and hauled them with whatever hearing there was and took them back to the boat. You did this all night long, right through the night. Then you hauled the other nets during the day. The same performance night after night, day after day. I don't know how we stuck it. It was really slavery, and when you had 4 nets in the boat and 4 men, and sometimes up to half a ton of hearing, the water was just coming out of the boat. I think that was finished before the war broke out. Nobody gings there now, and it's a good job too. The drifters, when they came along, that was a different mode of fishing altogether. It was quicker, much quicker. With speed, you went to sea where you liked. Another difference from the sailboats was that you were sometimes longer away from home. One boat I was on just used to fish Stornoway regularly, and you'd come home 1 weekend in the summer out of 16 weeks. When you came home that weekend, the nets were all bundled up. You had to take them off, get a lorry, and spread them out in the park on Saturday. Then get them in on Monday. The women folk used to come and gather up the nets on Monday, bundle them up, get them back on the lorry, down to the boat and laid on. That was your weekend. You was practically working a weekend except Sunday, and that was supposed to be your weekend out for the summer. That was the drawback on the drifters. But latterly that was all stopped. They didn't bother spreading the nets in the park, just sometimes after you came home from Yarmouth. Instead of spreading the nets in the field, you put them on the fences, and sometimes you had to wait 2 or 3 weeks before you got them dried to take them in again. Then it was the woman's job to mend the nets. They used to have them in the house and dust fleeing everywhere. The fishing now is different altogether. The nets they've got now, one boat will catch as many fish in one day as the whole fleet would catch in a season. But that's present day fishing. It's not what we call crans. That's 4 baskets a here into a cran and 7 cran to a ton. But now they'll scoop up 300 or 400 tons and perhaps fill 3 or 4 boats with one haul. But it's going to kill the trade. The herring's getting scarcer. Mackerel's getting scarcer. And the white fish is getting scarcer as well. It's certainly on the downgrade meantime, and there will come a day it'll dry up. Peterhead is 2 million down in last year's earnings, and that's a big drop. But there's always the boats that do well and boats that don't do so well, and that has always been the line in the fishing. Some of the boats, even in the sailboats' days, used to do well, while others used to just manage to scrape through and nothing more. It was the same in the drifter days, but with the drifters, as time got on, the expenses began to kill everything. So I don't know how they do for expenses now with this oil, but I think the oil is going to be dearer than what the coal was. The mode of living for people ashore is very, very much improved. The women folk now have nothing to do with the nets or anything like that now. It's nice clean houses, besides when you used to come home and find dust away. I don't know where the boats are like now, because I haven't been in any of the modern boats. But I don't think I would like to, because they work day and night. And that's a bad thing, because there's no person can work day and night and go on for a long time. They go to sea on Sunday night, and they steer long distances, 27 hours perhaps. Start to work, the next time they go to bed is when the boat's coming into land. Well, who's going to be able to stand that? I don't see them able to do it. In time it'll tell on them, but that's the present day. Of course the boats are more up to date, for all the electric gadgets and everything of that kind. There's every comfort in them now compared to what we had. You had no depth sounders, radios, or none of that. Oh no, there was nothing of that in our day. Our beds was just what they called a bag of chaff. But now they've got all their own mattresses, and everything's different from what we had. I don't think it's the right thing to say. It's a good job that passed off, because the people today wouldn't do it. They just would not do it.